This play is sponsored by the California Civil Liberties Public Education Program, a state-funded grant project of the California State Library.
And now, LA TheaterWorks continues with Mr. Rickey Calls a Meeting, starring Ed Asner, Sterling Macer, and Carl Lumbly.
I know your troubles, Joe.
Oh, yeah?
I've carried the same heavy load, but you must remember we're in this together. We're brothers in this.
Jesus Christ.
They've all betrayed you, haven't they? The ones in your corner who you trusted, they walked away. And after all you've done for them, you don't trust them now, do you?
Not a goddamn one of them.
They'd take care of you. They'd make the decisions. Just go out and fight, champ. Leave the rest to them. They'd be generous. And you trusted them, Joe. And what'd they do? What'd they do with all your money?
Spent most of it. Probably stole the rest.
Your country sounded the call, and you answered, gave everything you won to the war effort. A patriotic American. And how does the government show its thanks? By sending a man in a suit with a stack of bills in his hand.
I met the goddamn president.
You did your part, Joe.
For 3 years for nothing, no money. Give it all away for 3 years.
And after all you've done,
I met the goddamn president.
They turn against you, and why? Because they make the decisions, not you. Look at me. I want to sing like Jackie wants to play ball, but they have decided to deny me, to fight me, to not be generous.
We all been through it, Paul.
You trusted them, Joe. You let them have control, make every decision, and look what happened. And now you want Branch Rickey to make all the decisions for him?
I'm the one who wants to integrate. I set this process in motion. If it hadn't been for me, we wouldn't be here.
But we don't want your generosity.
Look, I got all the help I need.
Don't flatter yourself. This isn't for you.
Oh, that's nice to know.
It's for the thousands of people you will put out of work.
That is simply untrue.
We cannot allow ourselves to depend upon the generosity of someone who could just as easily say no. You know that. Joe, I know it. Bill knows it. But Jackie doesn't. You're here for him. He's your friend. But what kind of friend would let him learn the hard way?
I can take care of myself.
I can take care of myself. Sound familiar, Joe? And what he really doesn't know is that compared to him, you've had it easy. You're the lucky one. There's no question who the better man is in your game. It makes no difference whether the fellow you knocked on the seat of his pants is black or white or purple. He's on the seat of his pants and you're a better man. But in his game, a fellow can bat over 600. He can run the base paths like a dervish. And the manager or the owner or the fans or his teammates or even the commissioner can say, well, his arm's a little weak and can't hit a curved ball, and besides, we already have a fellow at shortstop. And they'll send him back to the Negro Leagues and say, well, he's a darn good ball player, but he's not quite good enough. It's not that we have anything against Negroes. Oh, no, we'd sign one today if he was good enough.
I want to move him up. It's you who's standing in his way.
And even if he does get called up, folks can say, well, he's a fine ball player, but he's the exception. And besides, we have 8 other fellows who are just as good, and we don't need him. We certainly don't need another Negro.
They're wrong, Paul. Nobody's arguing that.
But imagine, Joe, a Negro team. And every time they won, it would be like a knockout punch. Folks couldn't say they're darn good ball players, but they're not as good as whites. They couldn't say that because that Negro team would win every time out. Mr. Rickey wants to strike a blow against Jim Crow. I say, let's knock Jim Crow right out of the ring. Let's do something for the employment of all the Negroes. I propose a Negro League all-star team be chosen.
That's impossible.
Let me speak.
Black and white teams is no different than black and white leagues.
We are wasting time, and Joe must attend to more important matters.
The owners voted.
If you would kindly allow me to finish. Thank you. Take the top 25 Negro ball players, call them what you will. Put them in any city in America. Let a Negro man or a Negro woman or a group of Negro men and women own the club, run it, and see to its everyday operations.
Say, what about the owners?
Furthermore, and there shall be no compromise on this issue, Negro League owners, like Bill Robinson, must be justly compensated for every man they lose and for the certain extinction of their league. Now, if you all agree to my proposal, Mr. Rickey will adjourn the meeting, propose a toast, and we can all go home.
Finished?
Yes.
How do you vote, Bill?
Well, I'd say the idea's not without its merits. I don't mean I'm all for it, but it's something to think about at least.
Joe,
It's up to Robbie.
think for yourself.
I know what I think, and I know it don't matter what I think.
What do you say, Mr. Rickey?
It can't be done. Simply cannot be done. This game is run by powerful men. 15-1, they voted against employing even one Negro. You'll have 15 men against you.
And 15 million for me.
Oh, there he goes again.
That is not communism.
No, it's ignorance. Ignorance and arrogance. Your proposal is not practical.
Hang practicality. Practicality has been a noose around our necks. Practicality has given us poverty and unemployment and misery and humiliation. And I can keep us here till midnight, Branch.
I was there, Paul, 3.5 years ago when you and your band of idealists made your case before the owners. Let me tell you what happened when you left that room. Everyone applauded. Yay! Terrific speech. Then the doors closed and the commissioner turned to us and he broke into a great smile and he said, "Gentlemen, next order of business." And everyone laughed. They laughed. When they get an earful of this proposal, you'll have them rolling in the aisles.
Shuffle the deck, Joe. This is a waste of my time, too.
I know why you're frightened.
Say what?
Robinson?
You're afraid you're not good enough to make that Negro All-Star team.
Mr. Rickey, if you don't say something, I will.
Tell him, Bill, were you surprised when Jackie got the call?
I trusted Mr. Rickey's judgment.
Were your ball players surprised?
In a way, sure. But Robbie did make the Negro League All-Star team.
Oh, Jackie's a fine ball player. A fine, solid, dime-a-dozen ball player.
I don't have to take this.
Maybe Mr. Rickey saw something in Jackie that we didn't.
Guts. That's what I saw, guts, of which he has more than any man in this room. No offense, Joe.
It takes no guts to accept your charity. It's downright cowardly. If you had guts, Jackie, you'd demand to test yourself against the best, against every ball player, if you had any pride, or confidence, or guts. You demand they all be given a chance. And if Mr. Rickey didn't agree to your demands, if you really had guts, you'd turn around and walk out the door because the fact is you're not good enough to be first and you know it.
How many of your Negro League heroes could have matched me in Montreal?
Only 4 or 5 dozen. It was the minor leagues.
This season, I'll be Rookie of the Year.
If he promotes you.
And the next most valuable player.
I don't doubt that. But there are 25 others who could do just as well.
Name one.
Satchel Paige.
Satchel Paige is old enough to be my grandfather.
The finest pitcher alive. He beats Bob Feller and Dizzy Dean on every barnstorm.
The man has 2 years left in his arm.
Then sign him for 2 years.
Why, when I can have Robinson for 10?
Because he's better than Robinson.
20 years ago, but not anymore.
Then you should have signed him 20 years ago.
20 years ago, I was with St. Louis, and I couldn't integrate the fans, much less the ball players. I didn't have the backing of ownership, and you cannot blame me for that.
And now?
The Dodgers board is unanimously in favor of Negro ball players.
Generous men.
What is so gosh awful wrong with generosity?
Because if you can say yes to Robinson, you can say no to Satchel Paige. You can say no to Buck Leonard. You can say...
Buck Leonard is 35 years old.
Monty Irvin.
He hasn't been the same since his stint in the Army.
Ted Radcliffe.
Can't keep his big mouth shut.
Gene Benson.
Nice boy.
Joe Black.
He's a pitcher. I need an everyday ball player.
Josh Gibson.
Josh Gibson?
Josh Gibson.
Oh, Josh passed away, Paul.
He was alive a year ago. He was alive during the war. You could have stolen Josh Gibson the same as you did Robinson. Come now, Branch. You had a one-armed outfielder, and you mean to tell me...
Pete Gray was never a Brooklyn Dodger.
So every Dodger during the war was finer than Josh Gibson?
I did not say that.
No ball player was finer than Josh Gibson, not even Babe Ruth himself.
Those were different times. A Negro wasn't even considered a man. Different times. And I am trying to see them end.
So you're the savior of the Negro race, but only when the time is right.
Judas Priest, I am a baseball man. And my job is to take the Brooklyn Dodgers to the World Series. That is why I signed Robinson, and that is the only way I can bring about change.
Then do it.
I am trying.
In earnest, Branch. Do it in earnest. If it's a World Series you want, then sign all the Negroes. Open the floodgates. I guarantee you will win the World Series.
It takes patience.
40 years. My, what patience you have. It's been 40 years since Charlie Thomas scratched his arms and cried to you. 40 years for you to do something about it, and while you have bided your time waiting for the right moment, the Charlie Thomases of the world have been ignored and passed over and not given a chance. You have done nothing for Charlie Thomas. You have done nothing for Josh Gibson, dead and gone, nothing for Satchel Paige and Paul Robeson and Joe Louis and Bill Robinson and the employment of the Negro. You have done something for Branch Rickey and for Jackie Robinson and for no one else. There are hundreds who deserve this chance.
I've considered hundreds.
And had the generosity to choose one.
If I want to sign a one-armed outfielder or a midget
Or a Negro.
or a Chinaman or a six-legged monkey, that's my business. You want to make those decisions, go buy yourself a ball club. I've scouted them all. For 3 years, every last one of them. I know everything about them. How well they hit, field, throw, run the base paths. I know more than that. I know their good habits, their bad habits, where they were educated, what their parents do. I know who they're married to, if they smoke, if they gamble, if they drink, what they drink, where they drink, when they drink, how much they drink, and who they drink with. I know what sort of women, or in some cases men, they associate with. I know everything about them. So unless you have delved more deeply, expended more energy, or spent more money than I have finding the right man, then I suggest you keep your opinion to yourself.
Very impressive, Branch. You sound like J. Edgar Hoover.
I cannot afford mistakes. If there were two fellows who could shoulder the burden of being first, the same burden you have carried, and Bill and Joe, I would sign them both. But there's only one.
What would you say, Joe, if the boxing commissioner said they could only allow one Negro fighter?
Oh, don't ask
It might
me.
be Joe Louis, and it might not. Sure, he's the finest in the world, but we need someone who knows how to save his money and who can recite Shakespeare.
It ain't up
and
to me.
You've only got 2 years left. You're too old. You're too young. You're too nice. You've got a big mouth. You never fought against whites in college. You never even went to college. You smoke. You drink. You gamble. Sorry, Joe. We'll have to find somebody else.
I said it ain't up to me.
Listen to me, Joe.
I ain't voting for you.
Make up your own mind for once in your life.
I made up my mind. I made up my goddamn mind an hour ago. Now I'm through with this. So long, Robbie. And Mr. Rickey, just remember, I was the first to vote.
Sit down. I said, sit down.
It's time for me to leave.
Not while I'm here.
I got that autograph book. I got the autograph book. Who wants to sign it?
I'll sign it. I'm on my way out.
I said, sit down, Joe.
Paul, please. This is Joe Louis. He said his piece. He got other matters to attend to. Step aside, let him pass. Mr. Rickey, what do you say?
Come on now, Joe.
All right, Robbie.
I say the game is over, Paul, and this time you've lost.
Paul, some days the other fella got all the aces. No way to beat him.
You've given it your best try, and you've convinced no one. Now be a fair sport. We'll shake hands and all live to fight another day.
All right. With one final request. When the Dodgers sign more Negro League ball players, Branch, I'd like your word that Bill and his fellow owners will be justly compensated.
If they have proper contracts, of course.
And the other major league clubs will do the same?
I can't speak for them, but I will say this. I'll try my darndest to convince the owners and the commissioner to guarantee fair and just treatment.
So you guarantee to try your darndest?
I can be very persuasive.
The commissioner who's threatening to run you out of the game The 15 owners who voted against you, you can persuade them?
They're not always so unreasonable.
And you'll take your chances with that, Bill?
Mr. Rick is a man of the Lord, Paul. If he promises to do
His
something...
promises won't put a nickel in your pocket, but I guarantee this. Vote with me, Bill, and I'll cover your IOU for that 5-cent ice cream.
You want to pay me off. You got to do better than that.
Whatever's in my wallet, then. Count it. Go ahead. There must be $50.
Stop it now, Paul. This is undignified.
It's a business transaction. There's no shame in that. Go on, take it.
He will not.
You're broke, aren't you, Bill? $50. It's all yours.
I don't care what you think, you son of a bitch. Excuse my Creole, Mr. Rickey. But I can't be bought for $50.
Well, then, if it's come to this, my final offer. Withdrawn this morning from my personal savings account. $1,000.
That's bribery. You're buying his vote.
No more than you are. Every Negro in America will be a Brooklyn fan after this maneuver, Branch. You'll sell 1 million tickets and you're outraged by $1,000?
You should be ashamed of yourself.
His darndest, Bill, versus my $1,000.
You touch it and I'll break both your legs.
Robinson.
Do Jackie still get a vote?
Damn right I do.
I'll trade it for your vote too, Joe.
Mr. Rickey.
Now hold on, Paul. You offered it to me.
Bill, you know where we stand on this.
But even so, Mr. Rickey,
Put it back.
Mr. Rickey.
But if Robbie got a vote, you still come out 3 against 2.
Mr. Rickey.
For Pete's sake, what?
Mr. Rickey, it's past 4 o'clock.
All right. Bill, I warn you. Robinson, patience. Clancy, come with me.
Nigga, goddammit, why you picking on me? Mess with somebody your own size.
Are you with me or not?
I got too much to lose.
You have nothing to lose.
I got a goddamn half ownership on the line.
Vote with him and it's lost. He's running you out of the business, Bill. And all you do is dance and joke and show him your teeth.
What the hell that's all about, Bo?
Mr. Rickey said if I stuck with him, he'd take care of me.
When did he say that?
Over the telephone this morning.
And you trusted him?
I made him promise.
For God's sake. Aren't you sick and tired of people like Rickey manipulating you?
I'm old enough to put you across my knee and swish your skin ass. So don't tell me about nobody manipulating me.
We can all see the strings, Bojangles.
You won't see them with dirt in your ass.
Damn it, Bo! Put that gun away.
What are you going to do? Kill me?
I shot better men than you.
Jesus Christ, Bo, put that shit away.
Keep running your mouth off. I'll end your sermonizing days for good.
I am not afraid of you.
But don't tell me how to do it.
You'd better, because there's no other way to shut me up. Shoot me or don't.
Now don't pull that shit out again, okay?
What did he promise you, Joe?
Not a goddamn thing.
He didn't call this meeting just for our support. You were right. He's got something else up his sleeve. And you, just sit in the corner with your mouth shut, Jackie. Branch Rickey's water boy.
What gives you, the son of a bitchin' right, to come in here and lecture me? I'm not some United Auto Worker out on strike or your comrade over in Russia or one of the Broadway faithful who are gonna stand up and cheer every time you open your mouth and sing your words of wisdom. I mean, you met me an hour ago and you got the balls to come in here and tell me how to live my life?
Robinson.
You think you're so goddamn high and mighty.
Robinson.
No, I'm not through yet, Mr. Rickey.
Robinson!
Pay it no heed, Mr. Rickey. The Right Reverend Robeson just got into one of his serious sermons.
Gentlemen, I am late already for another meeting. I had hoped that good sense and reason would prevail. But
Excuse me, Mr. Rickey. You mind calling Clancy in here for me?
He should be back in a minute.
Fine, then. Say, Bo, let me ask you a question. You got to be at the track to lay down one of them bets, or is there some fella does that for you? 1 minute there, Mr. Rickey.
Well, I got a friend of mine that helps me once in a while.
Is he a bookie? I say, is he a bookie?
I know how you discourage all that gambling, Mr. Rickey, and you're right. It's just something in my blood, like a disease.
I would never impose my values on another man.
And I appreciate that.
What's his name, Bo?
You got a lot of questions, champ. Morris.
How do I get a hold of him?
Oh, Joe, he sure is full of questions. His number's on this here card.
Uh-huh. Listen, don't let me hold you up. You just go on back to your business.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Paul, before we vote, let me assure you that despite the disagreements and the quarrels we've had today, I still want and need your support.
I will not support you.
We made a deal. If I had the vote, you would publicly support me. I didn't force that upon you. It was your idea.
But all bets are off, Branch. You haven't played fair. You stacked the deck. Made secret promises over the telephone.
It slipped out, Mr. Rickey. I didn't mean
What passes between me and anyone else in private is no one's business but my own.
Mr. Rickey, mission accomplished.
Fine, son.
You think I could get you folks to...
In a minute.
But you promised.
Say, Clancy, I got an errand for you.
You gonna sign my autograph book?
After you do this.
Yeah, I heard that before.
Joe, if you
Listen,
would...
go down to the payphone in the lobby, call this number here, ask for Morris, and tell him $10 on this horse. Now go on, read it, so you don't make no mistakes now.
You can't ask me to do that.
I ain't asking, boy, I'm telling.
Besides, you got a telephone right here.
Well, you see, if I was paying for the room, I'd use the phone. But since I ain't, I won't. You understand me? Now go.
I apologize, Mr. Rickey. This gambling's just a sinful habit.
Fine, Bill. Now, how do you vote?
You've already stuffed the ballot box. There is no vote.
I thought you believe in democracy, Paul, or perhaps only when the time is right.
This has nothing to do with democracy. It's about you bullying your way and
Me
trying
bullying?
to connive.
Who
Yes,
do you
that's
think you're
right.
talking about? What, who's
Hey, slow down. Everybody just slow down. Now, we all know how we gonna vote. Mr. Rickey, see, he's gonna vote for Jackie, and Paul, well, he gonna vote for Paul.
What about Jackie?
Jackie don't get no vote.
The hell you mean I don't get a vote?
Jackie don't get a vote. Now, one for Jackie, one for Paul, and Bo, well, you gonna give each side a half a vote. So, it's up to me how I vote.
Joe, how do you vote?
I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm still thinking.
But, Joe, there is no time.
No, I had to sit around and wait all afternoon while you two making speeches. Now you gonna sit down and wait for me.
If I may say
No,
that
I heard it
understand-
upside down, sideways, and backwards. You can't tell me nothing I didn't hear yet. Now everybody just sit down and let me think.
Listen, Joe, maybe...
Look, people don't keep their mouths shut. I shut it for them.
Mr. Rickey, I'm sorry to bother you, sir, but there was a man downstairs looking for you.
For me?
Yes, sir.
Who was it?
Gentleman says he's from the commissioner's office.
The commissioner's office. Are you certain?
That's what he said.
Must be about DeRocher.
DeRocher. Yes, sir, DeRocher. He did mention that. Very urgent business. That's what he said.
Maybe it's best you go on, Mr. Rickey. I won't make up my mind till you get back, and I'll look after Robbie.
Robinson can take care of himself.
And I'll keep my eye on Paul. Still his copy of the Daily Worker.
All right, but when I come back, we vote.
Now can I get this damn thing signed?
God damn it, boy, what took you so long?
You gonna sign my autograph book?
In a minute.
In a minute. In a minute. In a minute. There's only so many minutes in a day. Now I'm putting my foot down. Either you sign my book right now, Mr. Lewis, or I'm gonna show Mr. Rickey what you wrote on this here card. And I'm gonna tell him that I never called no bookie, and you put me up the line about some man being from the commissioner's office.
What's he talking about?
I'm the one who's gonna get fired, not you.
Joe?
Sit down.
Joe, you lied to him? You lied about the commissioner's
I
office?
said sit down.
I'm going to get Mr. Rickey.
Me too.
Jack, you open that door, boy, I'll punch you so silly you'll wake up in the goddamn funny papers.
That go for me too?
Why'd he send you?
Just out.
Where?
I ain't supposed to say.
Boy, you forgot what I did to Max Schmeling?
No, you knocked him out in the first round.
Damn right I did. Now, why'd he send you?
Downstairs.
For what?
To tell all the sports writers to stay in the lobby and wait, because Mr. Rickey and the rest of y'all will be downstairs very shortly.
Sports
What the
writers?
hell's that about?
He never meant
Yeah,
to know.
sports writers.
In the lobby?
A whole crowd of them camped out. Got pencils and pads, microphones and cameras, all that. So now you know. Now can I please get somebody to sign my autograph book?
Clancy, lock that door. All right, he's gone, Jack. Now let's hear it.
I don't know anything about sports writers in the lobby.
You holding back.
Joe, I don't know what the hell.
Bullshit, Jack.
And what about my money?
You cut a deal? I want to know what it was.
I'm a part owner. I got money invested. Robbie, what about...
To hell with the money, Bo. Now, Jackie, all he does is shout your name and you clam up. Now, I'm losing my patience. So tell me what he made you do.
He didn't make me do a goddamn thing. He did... It's nothing. I got a hot temper. I'm a little chesty, but I'm not stupid now, Joe. Now, he's been square with me. Now, I owe him, don't I?
How much?
Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't sell my soul.
How much?
3 years. I promised him 3 years. I turn my cheek, follow his instructions, and keep my mouth shut for 3 more years. Now, that's all he asked.
It's not worth that. Crawling in with a gag over your mouth and 3-year promises hanging over your head is not worth it.
I don't crawl.
You're crawling to him.
So what else? Now, you gave him 3 years. What'd he give you?
Oh, now, Joe, you gotta
No. I've been sitting around all day, putting up with a whole lot of goddamn noise. I can't take this shit no more. Not from you. Now, you look me in my eye and tell me what else. Jackie, you let me turn my back, walk out that door. It's the last time I see your face.
He already moved me up. Here's my jersey. He gave it to me just before you got here. He said I'm a Brooklyn Dodger.
So he was going to march us all downstairs, turn the corner on a crowd of sports
Now,
writers.
he never mentioned sports
Tell
writers.
everybody he got the whole Negro race on his side. A unanimous decision.
And wipe the DeRocha story right off the front page.
Son of a bitch! That goddamn son of a bitch! I knew he was up to something. I got bigger things on my mind and he dragged me down here for a goddamn show. And you don't say a word.
Joe, I couldn't.
Goddamn son of a bitch! God damn! Son of a bitch! The major leagues. God damn, Robbie. You know, the IRS can kiss my Detroit ass. I'm gonna celebrate tonight. Hey, what say we take a swim upstream, fellas? Catch us some freshwater trout, huh? Clancy, Hope, you getting off early tonight, boy. Uncle Joe gonna take you fishing.
All right, Mr. Lewis.
Yeah.
Our story continues next time. I'm Susan Loewenberg, producing director of LA Theater Works.